Hi everyone, I'm incredibly nervous for this. Cool. This is Hi-Fi Rush. A game came out this year by Tango Gameworks. It's a rhythm-based action game, and pretty much everything in the game that you'll see is to the beat. And it'll click very quickly as to how the game kind of operates. Game starts when we gain time starts when we gain control. So I'll start the little intro sequence, and I'll let you know when time starts. So everything like cutscenes, menuing, well not menuing, but like skipping cutscenes, which I'll explain a bit later, is to the beat.
Where's that? Don't worry. Probably no big deal.
All right. Ready? Time starts in 3, 2, 1. Go. Sorry, I went on 1. So,
pulling yet again.
shut up.
Man, that's surgery.
My name is Kenorah. This is Esh.
That hit the spot.
And this is Apollo. We have a nice little entourage here. Little section here. We can't quite dash just yet, as Chai just got done with his Vandelay Robotics
Yeah, time to get out of these
test
clothes.
project. He got given a magnetic arm for trash collection, but then tries to. He's labeled a defect immediately as. Oh, I'm already finding it hard to focus. Okay, cool.
Okay, what is going on?
So we have a little tutorial here that'll help me a bit of time to explain things. So the category we're playing today is all choruses, as opposed to your standard any %. Basically, most of the actual combats in this game are labeled as choruses. And this category, we intentionally don't skip any of them, whereas any %, you'd obviously skip as many that would be faster to skip, which is all of them, because they're quite slow. So here you have a little combat tutorial. There's not really much happening here, but it kind of teaches you the game, how combat is all to the beat. Your attacks will always hit on the beat, but if you time it correctly, you get a little bit of extra damage, and it's just your attacks don't feel so sluggish.
Always land on the beat, but press the attack button exactly on the beat to give bonuses in battle. Looks like you're ready for more. Head on over.
There are New Game and New Game Plus versions of these runs, and one of the nicest kind of quality of life things in New Game Plus is the fact that you're able to skip all of these tutorials that you just have to kind of sit through in.
Everybody loves tutorials.
Everybody loves tutorials.
All right. Now try out a heavy combo in rhythm. This is the kind of timing to aim for.
This is pretty much teaching us that there are light and heavy attacks. We'll be utilizing both throughout the run.
You got it.
As it lets you do different combos. And you'll notice sometimes when I go to skip cutscenes, it says to wait a minute, or like wait a bit. That's kind of in an attempt to keep the game synced to the beat. If you don't skip the cutscenes exactly to the beat, then it has to like wait like a bar, or like wait till the end of the bar to actually get to the end to skip. So sometimes if I don't make a mistake,
Well, that was awesome.
oh, it is too early in the morning for this. If I don't make a mistake in keeping timing, skipping the cutscenes, then
Hello there.
it'll be instant. Otherwise, we'll have to wait like a second or two. So even dashing is to the beat, and usually your dashes are limited to kind of like a 1, 2, 3. But if you time a dash light as you're like kind of, I'm nervous. Can you tell?
Not
Not at all.
really.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Try and catch this.
if you time a dash light as you're coming out of your dash, you can kind of just extend on the next. Of course, now that I'm trying to show it up, I can't get it.
What am I supposed to do?
Performance issues.
There we go. You can kind of hear it.
Need a hand?
Oh, that's convenient. Looking to get out of here!
Well, that might be something I can handle if you...
Hey, yelling like this is awkward. Can you speed this up?
Fine. Look, I hacked the access panel. Smack the switch and come up.
So the dialogue in this game is pretty phenomenal.
Man.
And if you ever have a chance to play the game yourself, the dialogue and the cutscenes are just incredible in this game, and the amount of effort and love and care and effort that is put into all of these cutscenes and gameplay is just incredible.
It's a timing-based bonus
So
attack
here
at
we
the end of
meet
the
808, our little cat companion.
Watch for the timing circle.
And basically what 808 does, for now at least, lets us do these beat hits at the end of our combos.
Talk is cheap.
A cat
Let's try
panion,
it out.
if you will.
A cat panion, absolutely. So it adds an extra hit at the end of combos that lets us, depending on the combo that we do, we'll do a little special
There
thing.
it is. Going pro. To land a beat hit, listen to
Some of the
countdown
combo that
over
we
the two
end up
circles
buying throughout the run
overlapping to nail
is
perfect timing. Try a beat hit with your heavy combo.
is only really fantastic
You're on your
because
own
of its
with
beat
this
hit combo, and you'll see it in due time, I'm sure.
This is awesome!
Beat hits are key for doing strong combos and damage. So don't forget to feel that beat.
808, was it? I think we got something going on here. Hey, so offer reconsidered, but I'm gonna borrow your cap for a little bit.
What? Why?
Hey, you wanted to help?
So here we have a mysterious benefactor helping us by using her hacking skills, and I'm sure we won't actually meet her ever in the game at all.
No, I don't think so.
That would just be absurd. So the nice thing about playing, like, hitting your attacks on the beat, not only do they not feel sluggish to execute, but they also do a little bit of extra damage. And so if we get all of our hits of our initial light combo to the beat, these kind of just generic enemies will die in one hit. Oh, he wasn't dead. And that'll come into handy with a few particular enemies in mind later on.
Well, that looks like all of them.
Maybe things aren't so bad after all.
I'm applauding B at the beginning of cutscenes, and it's not quite agreeing with me. So here we just have a little bit of a platforming optimization, if I
Being
can.
cocky isn't gonna get you out of here.
Nice.
The best
Saves us having to, like,
solution
kind
is
of
the most obvious.
Run around this hole.
Terrible advice. You're wanted. We need to outsmart them.
Then I'll fight.
Reminder.
All right, let's see if I don't mess this up.
For added Project Armstrong flow, a new day of the week was added. Please
Nope,
note on this
okay.
additional day of the week, working is mandatory.
Really? At this point, it would have just been faster to go the normal way, but at this point, I'm now stubborn. There we go. Nice little hazard
Just like
respawn.
the first time.
Just,
Me.
yeah, look, shush. It's a skill issue and I know it, alright? So here we have our first use of Coyote Jump Storage.
I think I
I'll explain it now. Basically, if we
Yeah,
jump...
Sure.
Oh,
Oh, this campus is huge.
if we jump and
It's
dash
more like
off the
huge.
ledge... Can I please get over the bugs?
Um,
If we jump and dash on the same frame,
Oh, you like digging up
it kind of stores your jump. But if you can then get airborne another way, outside of jumping, it kind of lets you jump out of that airborneness, effectively allowing you to triple jump, which for a game that has mild amounts of platforming and like level design built in, it's really not built around having a third jump available and lets us get out of bounds quite easily.
I mean, imagine being able to triple jump in real life. That would be pretty good.
Imagine being able to double jump in real life. Gotta save that for Celeste.
Yeah, I guess.
So we got this little kind of auto-scroller-ish section where we're just kind of waiting out the laser beams. If there are any donations, now would be a good time to read them out.
Oh boy, do we have some donations. We have received a $20 donation from Llama Pajamas, who says, "Good luck on the run, Kenorah. I'm a pizza."
I'm a pizza.
But then, we have, from Maglev, a $100 donation that says, "Hi Kenorah, good luck with the run. I promise I'll stop here, so put this to whatever incentive you want."
That's a plus.
The opposite, actually. It feels
What
like
incentive do you want?
I'm powered up.
I forget which ones are available.
You've got a lot of energy stored in your arm. How about letting it out?
I'll think about that in a second.
Please don't
No worries.
Here we have our first special attack, Power Chord. Now, whenever we fight enemies in combat, they'll generate these batteries, and lets us utilize these special attacks. It'll be a lot more prevalent in... Ow. It'll be a lot more prevalent in future levels once we get to a certain type of enemy, but right now it does just kind of help us clean up some of these enemies a little bit easier than might normally. And here we have our first major use of Coyote Jump Storage, which, oh boy, I am not looking forward to this.
I am.
Yeah, look. Ideally, we want to try to get it here. We did. I'll explain how we know that in a second. Get out of bounds here. Do it again. Go up here. Now we're truly out of bounds. And normally you would be able to just kind of use this to go to the end of the level, but we want to get to all the choruses. Uh-oh. That's bad. Okay, we fell out of bounds. We got to reload the checkpoint. So if you fall out of bounds, and because we are playing on stream, we need to re-enable stream right after turning it off. So Coyote Jump, when you get it and you hold jump, you'll see Chai doing those little bunny hops. So it can be a fantastic way of knowing that you have it. So if you see me try to get it and he just doesn't do those bunny hops, then we know that we don't have it stored. So we do this little bounce here. Any percent would do this, or like do a very similar variation, but kind of continue it. We do it because it lets us... And I'm still stuck. Okay. I was hoping this wouldn't be the case. I tried practicing this a bunch. This lets us skip the Crusher tutorial. Just a little, like, kind of quick time event. Part of the level that we can skip, with thus not needing to, like, worry about the quick time, nor the thing that the quick time activates. Third time's the charm, yeah? Surely.
We'll see.
Oh, come on, don't do me dirty like that. There we go. There, nice. So now all of these crushes are disabled, and let's just kind of just go on through. That is 1 out of 2 tricks that I am fearing the most. You can probably imagine that the other one also has Coyote Jump involved, and has us going out of bounds. But we won't get to that for a little bit. So here's our first tough enemy. They basically have a stagger bar that they won't take hit stun until you hit them enough times to kind of break that stagger. fairly standard enemy kind of archetype in these kind of games. Ooh.
How about combining those heavy and light attacks for even
How's your day,
more
Banesh?
powerful beat hits?
All
Now's the time to
3 hours of
3 hours of sleep. Spending too long in a Discord call talking about nonsense. I needed to get some
fun
sleep.
nonsense, but yeah.
I've had less sleep.
That's concerning. Ah. So, while I'm doing not a phenomenal job out of nerves, the main draw out of all choruses is kind of combat optimization, as we aren't able to skip everything, or mostly everything in any percent. There are still a couple combats that haven't been found to be skippable, but there are also some very dumb skips, especially lately being found. Like some you can just kind of, like without even going out of bounds, just kind of walk around the trigger and the combat just doesn't start.
That's bait, idiot. They're clearly expecting you.
So here we're coming at the end of Chapter 1 versus the QA bot.
Let's rock, big boy.
He's basically a giant auto-scroller.
Chai, his hands
Um,
are extra sensitive for inspecting.
Weird way to say hit them, but
Hand down, Chai. Go get him.
So what we want to do is we want to hit his hands while they're weak like that, enough that we can get him to punch his own face.
That's a robot's weakness.
Yeah, well,
Themselves.
too failed, too big to fail. We also ideally don't want to get hit. More than like your just general not wanting to get hit. But it does give us a challenge. If we cannot get hit to... I just see the Rowlet dancing in the background.
I'm trying my best. It's really hard.
So now his face literally says weak point.
weak point on his forehead?
By design, speaks for itself.
And so now it is a global weak point for us to hit. But this level, this boss fight is pretty much just one big auto-scroller. He will health gate at certain points if we just kind of do enough damage too quickly, as it needs to reach a certain point. I got hit.
Get out of there.
And now that I got hit once, I really just kind of don't care.
You almost got him.
Almost at the end. Not the most perfect fight, but here he is, that health gate that I mentioned. Just kind of have to wail on him until the game decides we win. While we wait, if there's any more donations, now would probably be a decent time to read them, as we're just kind of waiting for... There we go. But feel free to read them.
Yeah, well, I'll do a quick plug for donation incentives. If you want to donate your money, but you're not quite sure what to, you can type in ! Incentives rather into the chat. Can you tell it's 4 in the morning? Not me. Yeah, type in exclamation point incentives into the chat and you'll find some wonderful donation incentives that you can put your wonderful money to. There is a bid war for this game. There is
Tell me
a
more.
drop or catch Corsica bid war. Currently, drop Corsica is winning by $100. But if you really want us to catch Corsica for some extra points later in the game, I don't know who Corsica is, by the way, then you need to drop some money in quick smart.
So,
Well,
yeah, that'd be a good time now actually to talk a little bit about kind of the plot of the game, especially while we have to wait for this whole little dialogue here. Basically, we're here at Vanderlei Technologies, and they're kind of designing robot enhancements for individuals. Shai signs up for said program, and his iPod kind of gets kicked in during the procedure, which now has kind of replaced his heart with an iPod, which is primarily why the whole world is through him is now to the beat.
I'm good to go.
And finally, here are items for some permanent.
Because of this, he is now labeled a defect,
I've got an idea for
and so
something, but let's
Vanderlei
just say it's
Technologies
still
and
pro.
thus the
How
5
you doing,
department
Ryan?
heads
Gears?
are
Don't
out to
underestimate
get
me.
him
I
and
can do
to
more than you.
stop him by any means
Alright.
necessary.
Let me see what you got.
So we want to buy Stompbox here. Stompbox is that combo that I mentioned, and thankfully we were able to get this set up. Now we're a cat boy. And now our cat is a boy. Well, is the boy. We have the cat boy and the boy cat.
Okay.
But like boy with an I. Boy.
Mission report.
Boy.
So this
He's the fella. She's 808 is phenomenal.
Every time I see 808, I just see
try
Bob.
to keep a low profile.
Fun little fact about 808 too is all of her sounds in the game are actually like made by an 808 drum machine, which is just like a really fun detail. So here we're why can't I? There we go. So in this level we're going up against the head of quality assurance,
Serious
Rekka.
guy? She built the
So here we can showcase the Stompbox that we just got. It has a very large AoE, and while also doing incredible damage. And it kind of just kills most things, most basic enemies, especially these gunners, which we hate in of its own right. If you manage to hit one of the like combo starters,
well, there goes our low
we
profile.
can kill the gunners in one hit as they're kind of spawning. And oh my god. There are two major types of enemies in this game, the melee and the ranged. Melee, thankfully, like to get in your face.
I thought you said she wanted me here.
I thought you said this was more fun.
Which is ideal because obviously we want to try to hit them as best we can. The ranged enemies like to run away from you at any given chance that they can, and by golly are they annoying. God, my dashing so far has been atrocious.
Bad news for your pride, but you won't make that
Just warming up.
Just warming up.
808 is feeding the info on your arm. It's magnetic, right? You should
So
be
here
able to
we
hook
get
onto
access
that
to our, being able to use our magnet arm to magnetically grab onto things,
That was awesome.
which shortly will be used as well in combat as well. We can now grapple to enemies, kind of closing that distance, which is really good for the gunner enemies and any enemies we want to kind of run up to. Currently, they still run away kind of as you get to them.
Use your magnet on the enemies
Um,
to close in on them.
Note that I said currently. But also, if you kind of attack out of on the same beat that you get to the enemy, you like start attacking them immediately, and it can be really quick. So here we can just kind of use Power Core to give them the old 1-2.
Try at least find a back route, maybe.
Well, looks like a path up through there.
So fun fact about this game. Oops. Yeah, fun fact. If you don't hit switches, they don't activate. I bet you didn't know that.
No.
If you don't, like, do the thing that the game wants to teach you, like, in terms of, like, things that Chai can do, the game will never assume that you can do them, which becomes a lot more prevalent in a level soon, where the game will teach us how to parry. Parrying is very important, and if we never unlock the ability to parry, we can't beat the game. There are skips that are effectively only New Game Plus viable then because of that. Otherwise, we just would not, like, you can't kill certain bosses, you can't kill certain enemies, you can't progress in levels. It's parrying gets kind of...
For a speedrun, that doesn't sound very good.
Yeah, and especially now, hint, 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 parry is now more useful than ever, in a sense of a speedrun.
I still love those Final Fantasy XIV AoEs on the ground.
Very, very easy to tell when you're about to get hit and when you know it's your fault.
Just got snapshotted.
Yeah.
Hey there, Chai.
So here Peppermint teaches us these, like, kind of mid-level shops, but we won't be utilizing them.
Peppermint, this spectrum thingy? What's that about?
Spectra. Our informant sent me code implying it's an AI.
Let's see, remember how to do this.
Hidden in all Vandelay's Project Armstrong robotic parts.
And what makes you so worried?
My source said
Nice.
that Vandelay
Very
never
good.
kept a project under wraps like that before.
Oh, this looks like fun.
Aww. As we're just kind of going through this little level here, nothing really of note at the moment. If there's any donations, now would be a good time. I don't think they can hear me. Oh god, Noob says his earpods in. He can't hear us.
Need to wave to them.
Now would be a phenomenal time for donations if you've got any.
At the risk of stating the obvious, please do not
Ow.
walk
If I can press the unmute button properly, you'll be actually able to hear me. Excellent. We don't actually have any donations yet, but it's a good time to remind you of who we are and what we're doing. We are AusSpeedruns, a group doing speedrun events to raise money for charity. For this event, we're raising money for Game on Cancer, a charity which funds early career cancer researchers who are working across all areas of cancer research. If you'd like to donate, you can go to donate.ausspeedruns.com or you can type !donate into the chat.
So that was kind of doing as I was saying earlier, being able to kind of pre-plan stomp boxes to kill gunner enemies as they spawn is very time efficient. I didn't get the right cycle. I don't trust that one either. The dash attacks like to home in on enemies or boxes that are around, and sometimes it can kind of mess up your cycles, and it's really annoying. So this is Rekka, the department head of quality assurance. I didn't mean to... So you gotta be kind of careful sometimes. Doing a dash attack into just your light attack is like, keeps you on the ground, but your dash heavy launches you into the air. So if you time your dash attacks to get towards your enemies a little bit poorly, you can accidentally launch yourself into the air, which obviously you can't do. Man, the auto-targeting is not playing in my favor at the moment. There we go.
on over here. Peppermint, this is where you come in?
Hold up, Chai. See that
So
door?
here we have a little
Might be
section
able to
here
bypass
that is
security on that one.
quite literally an
It's a rough
auto-scroller.
route, though.
There are a
Lot
couple
of
throughout the
stairs.
game.
You know what? I like exciting.
Instead of taking the stair route, which honestly might be a little faster, given the fact that we can dash, Chai opts to hop on this magnet, a little magnet ride over here,
Chai, you
which is
don't
just kind of
even
fun
know
to
where
listen
this
to,
rail
like the
goes.
pickups and all the machinery kind of going to the song.
Oh yeah? Well, look ahead.
I had something to say, and then I completely forgot what it was.
It's okay. It's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Oh Lord, sure is.
Would you happen to like a donation or two in that time?
100% go for it.
Excellent. We have a $20 donation from Leica who says, "Keep up the good work, Kenorah. You're amazing." We also
No. Wow. Sorry, continue.
We also have. Oh, we got an achievement. We have a $50 donation from Ghosty who says, "Hey, Kenorah, sending love from the Hades community. Best of luck on the run and give Rowlett some pats for us."
Somewhere.
I opted to do that when there's actually gameplay,
Pretty
of
close
course.
to Rekka's office now.
Naturally.
Naturally.
See? I told you.
Priorities.
Priorities. So
Barriers? Come on.
here we have obstacles that Chai is not able to pass.
You ready for this, Chai?
Thankfully, 808 has some fancy technology that lets her be able to kind of sync up to her host and lets her kind of temporal displacement towards,
You could have
which
been
now lets us
Doesn't
summon
look like
Peppermint,
you can make this jump. But see
primarily
that
to
switch?
shoot things that say shoot.
Yes.
Yep, call me in.
I mean,
I can activate those
says it all,
buttons.
doesn't it?
Ugh,
You sound like a video game tutorial. A lot of the dialogue in this game is very tongue-in-cheek, and it's the fact that we talk over most of it is honestly a bit of a sin. It is the special extra. What's that? How many? The 8th deadly sin. I was not looking at the game. I should look at the game.
That's a bad habit.
Of not looking at the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. You'd be.
Light 'em up.
God, if only this is New Game Plus, we could skip. Not this current set of kind of weighty platforms, but the next set.
Looks like somebody got
But
an
alas.
upgrade.
So now,
Time to shoot.
enemies that are kind of
I can never
obviously
load that many
highlighted in blue,
berries, you know. Just call me
like
in.
color-wise, robot-wise, will now generate a blue shield, which same deal as the shields. Same deal as the shields. We just summon Peppermint in now that we can summon Peppermint in battle, and she will destroy those barriers for us. Quick smart. Peppermint's also very good at just doing like nice little chip damage, but also she like fills a lot of the stagger bar at once, and it is very, very handy at killing certain enemies very quickly due to being able to kind of help stun lock them.
I was there.
So now that we have Peppermint on our team and Magnet pull as all kind of one package, the game likes to now throw at us some airborne enemies. Thankfully, there is a nice little quick kill strat we can do.
Call me in or use your magnet to get close to him.
Not getting hit by their bombs, of course. If we hit an aerial light heavy onto the beat, it does just enough damage to kind of two-shot them. Otherwise, I'll have to land another hit.
What a backflip.
What a backflip. Yeah, so if this is New Game Plus, we can now skip this. Unfortunately, we can't, and it's kind of just the worst because I get in my own head about it mostly, and I try to do it fast. And really, there is no real fast way to do this, as you kind of just have to wait for... Because sudden, like, robot arms will stop them in place. But alas, as long as I just don't overthink it, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Overthinking.
Yeah, who would do that? I have no idea. I shut up.
Get out of my head.
So Chai and Peppermint's dialogue, for the most part, is very, like, kind of, like, sibling, like, snarky commentary.
Hooray!
Pep up, Chai. We're almost there.
Oh well, I guess your whole
And it's
without her knowing plan is shot.
it's games like this that kind of appreciate, like, that they don't just make every, like, every male and female support, like main leads just kind of romantically involved. Like, these two just get along as, like, sibling kind of relationship, and it's great. I love
sibling should.
I don't know what you're implying.
Passive aggressively.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what you were thinking. I was thinking.
Peppermint likes to kind of just choose her own target sometimes.
She certainly got him.
If you aim her, like, towards enemies with barriers, she will try to go towards them. Why didn't? Yeah, but see, sometimes she just decides not to anyway. Thankfully, he kind of walked into the last shot, which destroyed his barrier. A nice little benefit of the special attacks as well is that it will destroy any kind of companion breakable barriers, let's just say, which obviously will only be ever Peppermint and no one else ever.
Just play it cool.
So here we have the Rekka fight, which is also a banger.
It's very vibes. Can't really merge those two words together because it's just vibes.
What did you say?
Vibes.
Vibes.
It's like vibes.
Ow. So basically also kind of an auto-scroller. We have to wait until a certain part of the song. That doesn't mean that we can't farm beat hits off her to kind of get health back and reverb gauge. So now she's getting juiced up. So now she's electrical, basically meaning we can't touch her. Thankfully, power attacks kind of go against that. And when she does that kind of big attack, we can use Magnet Grab to kind of to avoid it, and then that, like, kind of uses up her juice. And here we have a nice little Guitar Hero section as she grabs some pipes. She's very strong.
She's very strong.
You're going out with the trash.
You're just showing off.
A little bit. There's a particular attack of Rekka's that we really want to avoid. Thankfully, she hasn't tried it yet. Of course, now that I've said that, I'm worried she's about to do it. It'd be really nice if she phased anytime soon. Yeah, that one. And of course I get grabbed. I jumped way too early. You can kind of see why we don't want to get hit by this, because it not only does it hurt, but also it takes forever. At least now she phases.
It is a pretty cool looking attack though.
It's a cool attack, but like
I love those camera angles.
now she'll be dead any second now. Any second now. There we go. And as all Vanderlei bosses will do, when we defeat them, they just explode. It's a spectacle. Huzzah.
Who doesn't love explosions?
Who doesn't love explosions? Alright, as we're kind of just going through this next little shopping section and post basically they started Peppermint got caught wind of some special program that Vanderlei is currently producing called Spectra, and it kind of it allows Vanderlei to be able to control, like mind control any of their users of Vanderlei technologies. So that is primarily what we're now aiming to stop. And in that last cutscene that we skipped, we got access to Rekka's key, which lets us kind of get access to some of the files. But now, unfortunately, all of the rest of the department heads now know us, and thanks to Chai, know our names, because he is smart, and that is all I'll say on the matter.
I mean, he comes across as a smart guy.
Yeah. If you like, as I'm sure you saw on Twitter, if you looked up Twitter, he's very much like Sokka from
Avatar?
Avatar, Lost Avatar. Yep, thank you. Sorry, I got distracted by shopping.
All right.
For his trusty boomerang?
Yeah, but now he has a trusty guitar made of,
I guess it sort of works.
of magnet scrap that actually magically turns into an actual guitar when you get good enough.
That's no boomerang though.
There's no boomerang though. You're right.
I probably don't need to tell you this, but don't step in the lava.
So there's Corsica. She is the department head of security. We won't be taking her on just yet, but now as head of security, and now that they know our names, she will be kind of on our butt, trying to catch us as best she can. And at the end of her boss fight, you have an option to kind of catch her or to drop her. And that is what the bid war incentive is for. That we can close that like kind of during her boss fight. Her boss fight is quite long. So if you would like to donate for either to have her fall on her head, or we can try to catch her. It doesn't really change anything, but it is funny either way. Then that is something that we can do. We should avoid the lava. Lava's bad, I hear.
Yeah, I wouldn't really want to bathe in it, to be honest.
No. And yeah, so I believe Drop Corsica is currently in the lead, but if you would like us to catch her, if you would like to save, well, just a couple extra brain cells, I guess. So that was one of the crushes, the type of kind of quick time event that we skipped in track 1. Probably wasn't because I messed up on the trick twice, because of course I did. It probably would have been faster, but you can kind of see why we want to skip that. Skip kind of them as much as we can, because they do take up a while, and especially the first one, because it teaches us how to do it. Whereas it assumes that we have gone through the tutorial after that first one. And one of the things we got from the shop, oh, that was a weird visual glitch. One of the things we got at the shop between levels was magnet backstab. Basically what that lets us do is, whenever we magnet pull to an enemy now, if we press the button again, we can kind of hop behind them, which confuses them, which is good just in general, but also they then kind of get stunned for a few seconds when we do. So it's particularly good on gunners and bigger enemies. Gunners because they won't try to run away immediately, and the bigger enemies, the ones that kind of generate their own shields or have shields, cough cough. If you magnet backstab them, you kind of just don't need to use your companions to break their shield. So you can just kind of start damaging them a little bit earlier than you're kind of intended to. And here we have one of the more annoying enemies in the game. This guy likes to generate, using his little staff there, likes to generate those kind of blue barriers for his allies. And so we want to try to take him out as fast as we possibly can. Thankfully, he's not too bulky, but he is quite annoying. And there's always a couple of them when they get introduced.
Let's go.
Especially when the targeting wants to not play nice. That's what the Magna Max stab's for.
It's nothing personal.
Nothing personnel, kid, of course. Okay, could have gone better. Thankfully, in this level, there's always a nice little bunch of just a few arrows letting us know where we need to go.
It's always handy.
Yeah. If you ever spot an arrow, there's not that many in this level. There's a lot in this level. There are like little kind of like dock pads all throughout a lot of the levels. You kind of saw there. Sometimes the beat hit just kind of doesn't do the AoE splash of Stomp Box that we want, and it's really annoying, and I wish I had an explanation for it, but I don't.
Surely it's skill issue.
Look, it might be. But there's a lot of like kind of discoveries and little secrets to find in this game, and if you ever just want to lock that missed, I am upset. Ash, help me stop being so upset, please.
Nah, I'm having a lot of fun watching this.
Having a lot of fun? Okay. Let's actually not miss this time. Nope, okay, we missed even worse. Cool. This combat does not usually go this bad. Usually my power chords don't just completely whiff. Anyway, I could go on and on about how this game is incredible, both in its kind of writing and its discoveries, like its secrets all around, and music, and yeah. You're not here for that. You're here for us. You're here for puns, and you're here for speed. Anyway,
And Rowlet.
Here we are, and D.
Terrible, Chai. Just
Yeah.
get in there.
Pretty bad.
So here we're going to the research and development department, thus R&D. Chai loves puns and will try to make puns as constant and as frequent as he can. And most of the party, and by most of the party I mean Peppermint and only Peppermint, currently.
I think it's
Hate
not like they're
puns.
going to get more people.
No.
It's just a duo, and
Yeah.
Why are you upset?
808, of course.
We are supposed
And
to
wait,
see
of course.
the
Yeah. That's
It's like sort of 2.5,
Yeah.
I guess.
You know,
so. Here's Zonzo, head of R&D.
Looks like a volunteer's entered the lab.
You probably could have just named him like JoJo villain, and it would have just fit just as well. He is just kind of a walking, talking JoJo reference, and it is a shame that we skip his cutscenes because they are phenomenal.
It's scrambled. Something's overriding our
The voice lines are pretty good.
It's
The
unviewable.
cameras are still 480p. It's unviewable.
I think that's true. True.
So here we get access to the security lasers, which teach us the parry mechanic.
Just call me in. I can help.
no, wait.
I got an idea.
Got an idea.
Hey, it's been a while, but Chai's back with something new.
So we can skip this little section here. It's not considered a chorus, but as I mentioned earlier, if you skip this in a new game playthrough, you don't unlock the ability to parry, but as it teaches you it in this tutorial, which is really, really bad.
Look at this little guy. Don't worry.
It's just a balloon, though.
It's just a balloon,
He's gonna hit you.
but it's a balloon security droid.
Here's how it should
Evil
go.
balloon.
Now you give
Evil
it a
balloon.
try.
Bring it on.
My man, it only gets harder from here, so stay on your feet. All right. How about we get back to it?
Chai,
Did you just
black
black out? Maybe, I don't know.
No, it doesn't matter. Watch this.
Hit his head a few times.
It's a lot funnier in New Game Plus where it skips the tutorials, so it just kind of fades to black and fades back. And she's like, "Did you just black out?" He's like, "Maybe, I don't know. Let's go. Don't worry about it. Move on."
It's a very long blink.
You okay?
Getting the hang of this.
As we're kind of just going through, if there's any more donations, now would be a good time.
My accuracy code is flawless.
I can't hear you.
Boy, do we have a donation. You'd think I'd learn to stop pressing it twice, but I don't.
Sounds like a
We have a $20 donation from Kath Mandu, who says, "Good luck with the run, Kenorah. Not fooling me by pretending you're strangers to 5 a.m. though." And then there's a winky face.
I work now. I don't. Shut up. Anyway, I'll continue all donations in a second. Here we have the next kind of major skip. I got clarity jump storage quite quickly there, and then we want to try to go out of bounds, jump over here, and I fell. Okay. Because the next test chamber, while being kind of a combat, isn't considered a chorus, as it's pretty much just teaching us more of the parry. Oh my god. I hate nerves and stress. So there's a nice little tell now that we figured out when you're trying to get this storage. If you ever see Chai kind of doing bunny hops, I think I mentioned this earlier actually, now that I...
Yes, you have.
Yeah, okay. So I'm kind of just looking for that as... There we go. Pick up on the rocks.
You know what would help calm your nerves? Some more donations from Donation Mandu.
No. Yeah, probably. All right. While I'm just kind of trying to get this trick over and over again, if there are any more donations, go for it.
No worries. Well, I am going to plug our wonderful donation incentives. We have a handful of donations incentives over the course of the event. Some of them are really cool. One of them is for this game. As we can see at the bottom of the stream right now, you can either drop or catch Corsica. At some point during her boss fight, we'll be cutting that off, so you need to get your donations in soon. Currently, Drop is leading by $100. If you want to see the list of donation incentives, you can type incentives, exclamation point incentives into the chat, or go to incentives.ausspeedruns.com.
This and the last, in the one on track 1, I was worried about the most, and I was really hoping I could just get it first try. Hopefully I just don't fall out of bounds here. Okay. Now that we're in this corner, we... Oh, god damn it! Oh, that might actually be bad. I don't know if we can get back. We've never fallen that way before. Okay, no, we can. Okay. Everything's fine.
Everything new tech.
No, it's not. No, this isn't new tech. Speaking of new tech, after the next level, like during the next level, we'll be able to kind of showcase some new tech found as of Friday last week, which is fun and exciting. Thankfully, it is not nearly as scary or volatile as this. Oh, I fixed that.
That was a good save there.
Okay, now that we're on this roof, we can kind of just climb over, skip the... There's a lot of dialogue and waiting around, and we can just kind of get back into bounds and come through here. And that took far, far too long than I would have liked, but it's fine. That's honestly probably the first, like, hour of this run, mostly just because of those two tricks of all choruses, is the most intimidating to me. And I'm just kind of glad that we're past that now, and we can just kind of work on the rest of the game and showcasing the new stuff.
It has to be said, but it was certainly faster the last time you did that.
I'm not going to warrant that with a response. So now we have some more security lasers, and it's in this combat that Zanzo... Ow. We didn't really talk about the security drones. Any like kind of parry things like that have like a particular set timing to them, and you kind of just got to parry to the same beat that they were introduced to. And here, after these security drones, my apologies. Zanzo sends in the Brutal, which is our first super tough enemy of the game. They have a bit of a higher stagger bar, and they have the special quality of when they're reaching low on health, they reach an enraged state, which you can't really hit them, and they will, slight spoilers for the end of this combat, they will do a special like kind of enrage attack. Like this. This first one we have to get hit by to go through the tutorial. There are ways of avoiding it, which is the crux of how you fight these enemies going forward. But if you try to avoid this first one, it literally just loops infinitely. They are fun, but they're very slow. And especially certain enemies are a lot slower than others.
All right, enough testing. You've earned my respect, whoever you are.
And they still don't know who we are because all the cameras have been hacked to 480p by a mysterious hacker who Peppermint is claiming is not her.
Well, I don't know how, but you survived that.
If this doesn't get me in the lab, I'm quitting.
Yeah. But I'm still wondering, who was helping us out?
Was
with all
helping
that
us out
hacking
there
back
with all the hacking back there.
I
Very
didn't feel like
sus.
help. More like someone was just messing with just ahead.
Gotta love it when voice lines cut into each
Oh,
other.
yeah.
And just makes an amalgamation of something new.
There we go. So here we have,
A good camera angle.
yeah, Peppermint's, I almost said backside, but I meant like actual literal backside.
So back, yeah.
A brand new Zanzo original. So here we have a new type of enemy with some special new kind of barrier. Instead of something that Peppermint can shoot through. Yeah, it's Zergot. Not even our special attacks, currently, will kind of beat this. Unfortunately, there's nothing that we can really do against Z-shielding, but he's going to reason with it.
How about...
I mean, he tried.
He tried. All right.
Previously on Hi-Fi. Oh, sorry.
So here we meet Macaron and Cinnamon. Mac used to be the head of R&D and has been Peppermint's secret informant on the inside this whole time. He still works in R&D, but he's no longer the head, and he has a grudge against Zanzo because of that.
With some extra supplies, I can make them.
Thankfully, Macaron is on our side, and his punches are strong enough to punch through the Z-shielding. Very convenient now that we are coming up against Z-shielding enemies.
Once you level up a chip, you can switch back and forth to lower levels.
And there is a slight deviation in the route as per normal,
This is actually pretty cool and
thanks to said new trick.
useful.
I know Peppermint's got a lot on her plate.
Macaron now takes over the
I'll
shop,
take over all these upgrades for now.
and he teaches us how we can upgrade our chips. But in any percent, like any percentile choruses, we don't really have the time to do that. Cinnamon's dialogue is phenomenal, as I'm sure you'll probably start to hear in the background. He also likes to draw facial expressions on himself, as he is a robot without normal expressions. So he has like like a marker that he draws faces on all the time. So now that we're coming up against Z-shielding, both in kind of walls and rocks and things like that, and enemies, 808 has now been updated, and we can now switch to Macaron and summon him to break through.
Not bad, Macaron. First step into the wild. Try this out.
Ready for this?
It's not really obvious what kind of walls he can bash through, though.
Yeah, if only there was.
We can see that. Now just climb it, and we're back where we were.
It'd be nice if it had, like,
Hey, Todd.
punch. Just like there was little shoot buttons.
Imagine it's one of Zanzo's security.
So get this. I was looking through databases for
So now that we have a little bit more of information on the inside, here we find out that the only people with access to the Spectre files are the department heads. But we actually find out that Corsica, the head of security, only has very limited permission to access the Spectre files, kind of indicating that they don't really trust her yet. But unfortunately, she's still wanting to kill us. So now that we have Mac, we can punch through the Z-shielding, and thus, because we have Mac, now our special attacks also break through Z-shielding. So we pick up that battery, the usable battery over there, to fill up our reverb gauge. Mac would like to teach us how to use his ability, but this is just kind of faster. Thankfully, these things are really frail once they actually get that shielding broken off.
I'd probably say so.
Focus should be in the next room.
It's locked.
So unfortunately, we want to get to the AI labs, but it is blocked.
Pull a Chai, find another way in.
Peppermint's getting distracted by Cinnamon, so she leaves Chai up to his own. AI labs is close enough, right?
Close enough, right?
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Round up.
Meanwhile, Cinnamon starts giving Peppermint a personality test.
Unsympathetic? Hot-headed? You don't even know me.
You are only proving me correct.
Come on, Chai. You can vouch for me, right? All right.
Chai, where are
wait
you?
a second. Chai, where are you?
AI was locked, so I went in the AR room. So now that Zanzo knows it's us and knows that he kind of He's not just using us as a test subject per se anymore. He's now trying to find ways to just actually kill us rather than kill us in the name of science.
I mean,
Still killing us in the name of science.
yeah. But if it's for science, it should be alright, yeah?
Like this.
Yeah, sure.
Mandalay alternate reality recreation technology.
Bart.
Patent approved. So real, it hurts.
It's like I'm
I'm gonna just do a little prep here.
I know. Awesome, right? Oh, good. Now, show me what I missed. Plus a little extra.
So now he's kind of recreating the scene that we just dealt with, but he's also now summoning it, some extra enemies, which is actually kind of works out because it now means we have extra targets while we wait for max summons. Because unfortunately, while Peppermint destroys her barriers in one hit, Mac destroys his shielding counterpart enemies in 2 hits. Which is quite annoying, but there are kind of workarounds we can do to it.
So what you're saying is guns are better than fists.
Guns are better than fists. Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Unless you're playing Final Fantasy 14 and then Monk wins against Machinist any day.
Oh, yeah, I guess. So how do you know that?
you know what? You make a good point. I don't know that. My cousin told me that actually.
Oh, yeah.
He works at Squeenix, and he's got their internal testing on hand.
Oh.
Anyway.
Secrets.
So here we are just kind of going through, in these augmented reality sections, we got to destroy the enemies, and then it kind of warps the, and unstabilizes the simulation, which lets us kind of destroy these projection lenses. This is more of these QTE moments.
Lenses down. That was a quarter of our budget. Pull in some money from the yearly bonuses.
That programmer was right. It looks like Zanzo's burning through his budget.
So here we find the way that we can actually kind of fight Zanzo. A little earlier on, we overheard the head of finance
Throwing something lavish at you.
threatening to
Check this.
uh,
Now we can see Chai drain the budget in real time.
cut off the funding to R&D if they don't deal with the defect problem. So if we can kind of goad Zanzo into destroying his budget, then he won't have anything to throw at us anymore. And thankfully, Chai is very, very good at
Breaking things.
yeah. Let's stay with that. So here we have just a standard kind of Z shielding enemy rather than the big ones. These ones have a giant shield that we normally can't hit. However, if we magnet backstab, we can hit them early and kill them before they start blocking, which is really, really handy because they're really annoying to deal with otherwise. I like to spin.
So cool doing
Spin to win.
Spin to win. And the magnet backstab sometimes has a bit of a mind of its own, quite like the Peppermint. And we kind of just have to kind of go to its whims. So here is what the first use case of that new trick that I mentioned was discovered on last Friday. Will be coming up after we destroy this simulation lens. There used to be another way to do this trick, but it was a little bit tricky, and this is just a lot easier of a way to do
I
it.
see what you did there.
Not intentionally.
So, Zanzo,
So,
where's your epic set piece?
if we're playing in Winterboot, which we are, and we air parry, and then control the we can kind of just go up. And it's very silly. Unless you mess up, apparently. Okay. And you kind of just up. So that is the first use case of it. As you can imagine, being able to fly in a game like this is...
Who needs triple jump?
Yeah, I mean, with triple jump and fly, you could kind of go anywhere. It's a lot more applicable in any percent, as you can imagine, because it lets us skip a lot more combats. But there are still plenty of uses for it in all choruses. Like this one. So here Zanzo creates a whole set piece rather than just a simulation room. And he is offering us the gift basket that we were promised in the last level. So unfortunately, we don't really follow his instructions and we just kind of go over here. We just kind of float over the lava instead of activating all the augmented reality. And we just kind of fly on over to the next combat.
This is what Final Fantasy XIV is missing.
Yeah, honestly.
Flying.
Yep. So
actual mount.
Now all chorus is kind of is turned into partially. Oh, there's a Senko. Yep. Certain elements of all chorus is now kind of just turns into how can we get to all the combats in the fastest way possible rather than just going through mostly the intended route. The lava's annoying. Alright, and here we have another use of windowed flight. The last one for this level. But it kind of, instead of going the intended way, we can just kind of fly on over. We can even do 360s.
Who doesn't love 360s?
Who doesn't love 360s? And we're looking for a specific trigger point, which is kind of where those gears are over there. We activate part of the level, and then we just kind of turn around and fly back over to activate the switch, which we can still use our companions while midair.
Dropping Peppermint into the lava.
Yeah, we just drop them straight into the lava. They're just being summoned in. They just get summoned out. It's fine. So he's making a volcano bigger, a volcano that we didn't set the spawn for. So he's made an invisible volcano bigger, but it's still very much real. It's just there's nothing here. You can see the lava coming out of nothing. So now we're coming up to that totally real gift basket that we totally earned and deserved. And no, the gift basket!
Guys?
And now I take you down! Did you want us to drop the platform? Was that not implied? Okay.
I love this dialogue. I love all of this game's dialogue.
Even his own hair has a personality.
Get him, Chai!
Let me out there.
So, up next we have one of those brutals again, and there's a couple ways I mentioned we can kind of deal with the enrage, like kind of enrage mode and like the parry rhythm attacks that they would cause. We just kind of stand here to avoid all the lava. And the easiest way is through any special attacks. Special attacks kind of ignore the can't hit them enrage mechanic, which just kind of lets us do that last little bit of health and just kind of kill them. If we can just kind of farm some bots for some more energy and health, just for a little bit of safety.
Power through it, little guy.
So once he enrages, we can now just power chord and kill him in a lot less time. And now we just have one more simulation lens to break. This time Macaron wants to kind of lend a hand. Spoilers.
Mind if I join in?
Let's finish this.
I've been noticing during those QTE moments as well. It's only prompting us for one button. It's one of the accessibility options that we allow in the speedruns. Just doesn't really change the timing. It just kind of makes it a little bit easier on people. So there, Zanzo had this giant death robot prepared for us, but he ran out of budget right as the head was about to be popped on, and he kind of exploded because of that. But then Kale, the head of the company, and Corsica, the head of security, kind of barged in and went to go capture us, to which we escaped through the glass pane window. Shai then opts to be a hero and kind of offers to be a distraction, while the others can kind of freely escape. So we got another kind of...
All security, report.
So we want to try to... there's enemies that spawn their shields like peppermint shields. We do kind of want to Magna backstab them as fast as we can and kind of kill them before they get a chance to turn on their shields is one of the ways that backstab can help us deal with them in particular. So this section's fun with a capital F, mostly just because I've had it glitch out on me a couple times. There's a bit coming up where sometimes the magnet prompt just kind of doesn't pop up, and we just kind of fall to our deaths because of that. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, sometimes that one just kind of doesn't work, and you fall, and then the lasers catch up, and then you just die and have to redo this whole section. Not ideal. A couple of my PBs had that happen. Wasn't ideal. So this is just kind of a timed moment. We're just kind of waiting out until they open the door.
Jai, get out of there.
And we just go a little bit more fleeing. And like, we're doing a pretty good job. They don't seem to be catching up to us. They're sending us everything they've got.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. They just can't catch us. We're too fast.
Need more budget.
Well, security has plenty budget, currently.
For now.
For now. Out. Just busy looking at my notes. So fun fact, if you don't get any of these magnet grabs as Shai is falling, he literally just lands in the lava and you get a game over. It's just kind of good luck or you're dead. You don't need to hit them to the beat, thankfully. I think if you do, it's just like a little faster, but nothing too bad. So here we fly back. Kale catches us. We go to fight him, and then Corsica knocks us out, and I mean, nothing else happens because we are back in the hideout and everything's fine. And everyone is happy to see Chai, and everything's lovely and wonderful, and he totally doesn't have a dream sequence that we are totally not going to skip.
So,
Unfortunately, he got caught by Corsica.
Take a nap and get the Spectra nonsense out of your system.
We like Corsica, even though she's a bad guy and wants to kill us.
so, now where were we? Peppermint, mission report.
There's always lots of likable villains.
Exactly.
The plan again?
Mr. Chai, listening
I always
is also a
dislike
part
the
of
beginning of this
innovation.
level right after the last one, because the last one ends on such a high BPM. And this one is a lot. Shut up.
Since you're in
Scanning.
There's another hazard respawn. This time I actually got a first try.
Engaging security lasers.
And obviously,
Looks like Zanzo's
because
laser
everything in the game is to the beat, if the BPM is higher, then we kind of just go through the level faster.
Attention, this is Corsica. There's some sort of
So here in
stable
track
station
5,
going wrong. I have something else
we
requiring my attention
need
right
to
now. Send whichever repair units
kind of
we have
fix
over
all
there
of their
to
problems. There are 3 major nodes that we need to kind of reboot. And you're usually meant to forced to go to one of them, and then you get a choice of 2. But thanks now to
That elevator in front of you connects us to the
windowed
lift,
flying,
which takes us to Corsica's wing. Guess we got a job to do.
we can now just kind of
Elevator. You'll need to power that one up to access the other 2 up top.
hard labor.
fly up.
Not my jam.
And now we get to kind of decide which nodes we go first, which kind of also weirds out the combat here and just kind of spawns the enemies in instantly.
I'm glad you didn't show me that
Yeah,
beforehand, because this is great.
This whole rerouting of track 5 was discovered on Tuesday after I landed in Adelaide. I have very, very briefly practiced this during tech check, but the whole level I haven't really done. So that'll be fun. Come on, please target the right enemy. There we go. So, in between the levels as well, we bought Love Tap and Gravity Well, which will help us. In particular, Gravity Well will help us fight this enemy that we were meant to get a tutorial on, kind of.
Looks like it'll counter any attack now.
See if you can parry its counterattack. Should give you the upper hand.
Nice. So there's a nice little trick to fight the samurai bots. We're meant to get introduced to them earlier in the level, but now that we kind of get to decide where we go in this level rather than going as intended, so here are some of these nodes.
Uh-oh. No down. No down.
They don't look too heavy.
I'm going to try a trick after this, knocking this up, that I haven't really... I saw in a video once. Nice. Just helps us get up here a lot faster, rather than going the slow way. So yeah, now that we can kind of do track 5 in any order that we want, honestly, we don't even know if this is the fastest way, as it is just so new. This is just kind of the best that we can, figure out at the moment. Now that it's kind of, it's turned a lot less into follow the intended route and more just like, we get to decide the route and we just need to figure out which is the fastest. Now, instead of taking the... I didn't want to take the elevator. The elevator's slow. Can I go back up? Oh, I can't, can I? Okay. Let's...
That's okay, you can just fly.
Yeah, I wanted to fly from up there to over here. We're just gonna have to do it a weird way. Normally we would do this combat later. We would do the like node up top and as intended, or like do the node up top kind of first rather than doing these combats and then drop down to this combat. But I accidentally hopped on the elevator, which it's fine. A little bit of live routing never hurt nobody. The rest of it's still fairly easy to kind of adapt. It's just kind of annoying. All of this section, all of this section we can just be able to just avoid. But alas.
Insane. Also, she seemed genuinely surprised when I said Spectra is an AI built for mind control.
So here we kind of find out that Corsica really doesn't know a lot about Spectra. And we kind of decided to devise a plan that maybe we can use that to our advantage. Especially considering... Oh my god, really? Peppermint destroyed that so slowly. There we go. We can't just explode Corsica like all the other Vandalay department heads because she's not outfitted with any of the Vandalay tech. So we have to kind of devise a plan to get the password out of her more naturally. And being the head of security, I'm sure her password is tip-top and not at all, definitely not at all password, because that would just be absurd.
Of course.
Whose password would be password if you're the head of security? Alright.
Just trying to be a little bit cheeky.
Yeah, like, we don't know if that's necessarily faster, but, like, we wanted to give it a shot. Unfortunately, I didn't quite get it. And Peppermint decided to not attack the enemy with the barrier, because of course she wouldn't. Why would we want the AI to work in our favor? That just sounds absurd.
They clearly know that you want it to happen, so they do the opposite. It's like whenever farming for something, it just never drops.
I'm fighting this guy in particular because I want to fight the Samurai bot in a very particular way, utilizing gravity well. Nice. The Samurai bots have the longest rhythm parry attack. There we go. So it wants us to go through that, but instead we can just kind of fly over here. Normally this would be now where we go into that combat, and then we drop down here afterwards. This is meant to be as the first intended node, where the other two like open up after we do this one. But thankfully now we can kind of decide when we do it. But now a lot of the dialogue is kind of out of whack, because out of everything, the game really doesn't expect you to be able to
fly.
Fly and just completely change how we do this track in particular. So here we have what is meant to be the first Samurai bot, and so thus we'll have a whole special... There's an enemy. No, okay. A whole special like intro cutscene as to deal with them.
Security detail. Protect bosses at all costs.
And we kind of deal with them in the same way.
Tries to Zan Tetsuke.
Nice. Alright. As we're kind of just climbing this little node 1, if there's any donations now would be probably a good time. I can't.
Well.
Okay, there we go.
I pressed the unmute button once this time. I was just about to lead into it.
Fair enough.
All right. We don't actually have any donations right now, but it's a good time to remind you of who we are. We are AusSpeedruns, a group doing speedrun events to raise money for charity. For this event, we're raising money for Game On Cancer, a charity that funds early career cancer researchers who are working across all areas of cancer research. If you'd like to donate, you can go to donate.ausspeedruns.com, or you can even type !donate into the chat, like a very handsome person is doing right now. Oh, look at that. That was me.
Oh my god, so handsome. I bet he has a really cool mustache and everything.
I don't know. I think the moustache is a bit mid, but we keep it.
So now that we're coming up, like, we're kind of on our way to fight Corsica. There's still a couple levels until we do.
But of course I couldn't have done it without you.
But that incentive will be probably coming up. If you do want me to catch her, I think, rather than drop her, as I think is still in the lead. If you're muted, I can't hear you. I don't know if you were...
Sorry, I wasn't sure if you wanted me to speak.
Sorry.
Catch Corsica is losing by $100 to drop Corsica right now. If you want to, in fact, catch Corsica, you have, whenever Kenorah says...
Probably about 20, 30 minutes?
Okay. You have like half an hour to get your donations in if you want to, in fact, catch Kenorah instead of...
Kenorah?
Kenorah? Corsica. There are 2 K names, and it's 6 in the morning.
Kenorsica.
Kenorsica, ooh.
Probably don't even need to window fly there. Probably can just jump and actually it'll lead you in. Anyway.
But yeah, $100. The difference. Donate money. Exclamation point incentives. And donate your wonderful money to a wonderful cause.
What? No, he made fun of my pants.
Who cares? We're finished here. Ride the elevator down and we'll take the lift to Corsica's way.
I, for one, Mr. Chai, like your pants.
He's even blushing.
Thank you.
He drew the blush? Yeah. So here we have the final combat of track 5. And then track 6 is fun to go through once, in particular the cutscenes. For it is incredible and probably one of my favorite cutscenes in video games in general. But it is kind of just one big auto-scroller other than that, which is unfortunate.
Oh, you didn't like Tesleen getting stabbed in the back by a Sin Eater?
Spoilers! I haven't completed Shadowbringers yet.
That's a lie, and we know it.
Why aren't you dying? You should be dying well before this point. There we go. Must have just not hit on the beat enough. So here we have a new super tough enemy coming up. A friendly little flying birdie. And if you use the magnet to get to them before shooting them with Corsica, nice. Didn't miss that one.
Last hit.
Yeah. The last hit's really all that matters for the most part. Like, the last hit does the most damage. But yeah, if you try to magnet them before you shoot them with not Corsica. Corsica's the boss. We would never get Corsica on our side. Peppermint. If you don't shoot them with Peppermint first, you get counted.
Lift should be just ahead.
And we're one step closer to Corsica.
And that went pretty well up there. You breaking me out, working together.
Alright. Somehow the defense.
So now Corsica's kind of conflicted, because we're kind of teaching her about Spectra, despite her and her realizing that she is being lied to by the company. Shocker. And we also fixed their security issues. So currently she's very confused as to what she's meant to be doing here at the moment. So this level is just kind of one whole big auto-scroller. It's a couple combats, and then basically a gimmick fight. It's got fun music though.
Maybe you're wrong.
Here they come. Come on.
Hi, it's me.
Ah, hello.
We're trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Would you like a donation with your auto scroller?
Absolutely.
We've got $20 from Goatfish, who says, "Let's go!"
I honestly thought that was going to end with "Let's go, fish." Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Probably should be looking at the way we're going in case there's debris dangerously or irresponsibly close to the lift. Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
Accidents may result in injuries not covered by our company insurance.
Watch out, Chai.
You can just kind of parry these two and get health back.
Now you have to get hit by all of them.
I'll try. No!
Yeah, unfortunate. I mean, that one was impossible, but still unfortunate.
Great job, little guy.
It is actually technically a little bit faster to perfectly parry or dodge all of them, because there are two variations of dialogue that happen there. The "Great job, little guy" is much faster than the "Mr. Chai, we told you not to hit them. Please don't hit them."
More of them coming.
So we can actually get Peppermint to shoot. And then there's going to be some more little guys, and by little guys I mean not so little guys, as they send some explosives our way, and I shot that too early. Peppermint deciding on her own who to shoot. And we just kind of want to do some chip damage as well as do some chip damage and kind of... We wanted to try to stagger their spawns so we had a chance to deal with one a little bit while not having to deal with both of them, but it is what it is. That was coarse too. Track 6 is definitely like a bit
This is one long tunnel.
yeah, it's a bit slow.
A little bit.
More construction ahead.
Again? What are they even constructing?
What are they even constructing? That's a good point.
But you missed one.
Shut up.
Okay. Hopefully no more of that.
Thankfully, I think he's right. So now we have the last little... Korska's realizing that we're still on the lift and demands that they turn on the brakes. Thankfully, the brakes are made of Z-shielding. And who do we know loves to break Z-shielding?
Let me have a go. Ready for this?
Mac. Unfortunately, like everything Mac does, it takes 2 hits.
It just needs guns.
She helped. So, unfortunately, there are four sets of wheels. As I'm sure you can probably imagine, they're going to turn on the brakes on all of them. And really, it's just a matter of managing max cooldowns while avoiding enemies. Thankfully, once we destroy all of the eventual breaks, once we destroy the breaks, it does end the level, or like it ends the combat at least. So I wish we could just reverb it. I wish we could power chord it, but alas, we cannot. But unfortunately, because we have now destroyed the brakes, we can't stop it, and so it crashes, and Chai goes flying into a bit of a construction area.
They should be used to it by now.
Yeah. So here we have a bunch of kind of bigger enemies here. We want to try to get as much gauge as we can here, as there is a brutal, and so we want to be able to avoid his enrage through our power chord. Nice. Now hopefully this trick doesn't take me 20 years. This one's not as volatile per se, but it is just kind of annoying to get right.
Chai is under great pressure. Best not to apply anymore.
You got this, Chai. Check out
That was an
construction
awful
for that
jump.
door.
Positive reinforcement.
Oh, really? I don't want to hear you say it. There we go.
Was faster than last time.
I said. Alright. And here we have one more coyote jump.
Anyone here who knows how to fix the coffee machine? It's only giving out decaf, and with this amount of documentation I need to get through. What? Firmware? What's the coffee machine need a firmware?
What's more important than catching me?
Coffee, obviously.
Honestly, that is one of my favorite lines. The fact that Corsica's complaining about the coffee machine needing a firmware update because it's only giving out decaf. And if you find some of the secret little like docu-pads around all the levels, you find out that it's like this like nefarious plot by one of the workers that they were getting fired, and so they intentionally turned the coffee machine into decaf only mode, and then like disconnected it from the internet so it couldn't get the updates to turn off decaf only mode.
What? How am I supposed to do that?
Persuasiveness is indeed not one of Mr. Chai's strong suits.
Right. We need the password to shut down Spectre. Let's brainstorm here.
So here is where we find out that Corsica's not outfitted with tech, thus we can't just explode her and get her keycode that way. At the end of this level, there is that Corsica fight, which partway through we will be closing off that incentive. So if you do really want me to catch her rather than just drop her on her head, then feel free to donate. Or if you want to make sure that she gets dropped on her head.
I need clear time right
Peppermint, come on!
For a lot of the kind of remaining of this run, it's primarily just kind of how do we optimize combats in different ways. There's still a few more tricks here and there, mainly in like the level after this and one of the last levels that, thanks to windowed flight, otherwise didn't used to exist. here we have a level aptly called The Climb,
Give me the rundown on Corsica.
as our main goal is just to go up.
Demanding, lack of humor, all the perfect qualities of a boss.
However, she just joined Vandalay 6 months ago.
It did seem like
Excuse
she's
me?
been trying to
Excuse
prove
me?
herself to Kale since we ran into her.
That was
That's pretty insecure
something
for
I've never
head of
seen that before.
security.
A joke from
See, Peppermint makes one pun,
Bravo.
and yet she gives us crap for it constantly. Yeah, so here we find out that Corsica's only been with the company for 6 months, and thus isn't really trusted by the executives, as well as, like, I think it's partly in because of the fact that she doesn't have tech. Kale probably thinks that he can't control her in case I want to try to kill these gunners so that we can have enough gauge for when we summon Mac. Nice.
Let me out.
Unfortunately, like, and I am willing to be proven wrong on this, but I think for this level, a lot of the way that we gain height, like, to go up the level, is by, like, a lot of these magnets and a lot of the kind of rhythm jump sections. So I'm not entirely sure how much, if any, skips could be found using windowed flight, but I'm sure there'll be probably something in the next couple months at the very least. Ow.
Shocking.
Listen, you. Listen.
You had a little bit too much fun with that, didn't you?
Yes. I just love all the little stings in this game that, like the whole soundtrack is on Spotify, and every now and then when I do listen to it, it's like some of the sound effects are just so ingrained in my head at this point that, like, when I don't hear them by listening to the actual song, it takes me by surprise a little bit. I'm gonna try to. This fight is going awfully. That could have gone a lot smoother, but it's fine. I think here we have coming up a Brutal with 2 shields next. At least we have the gauge for it. There we go. Just kind of going more up at this point. If there's any more donations or anything else to read, feel free to interject at any moment.
Well, we have officially cracked the $13,000 mark.
Hell yeah.
Woo! With a $20 donation from Sten that simply reads, Softman Crimkit.
Crimkit.
We've also received a $5 donation from AF_Silver, who says, it's not much, but hopefully it helps. Just wanted to say hi, Kenorah. Us all choruses folks got to stick together. Big thank you for those donations.
Thank you, Silver. Yeah, Silver was the one that discovered the track 5 kind of reroute. I said to them right before I left if they found anything before, like after I no longer had access to my computer, I would do my best to implement it. Thankfully, as windowed flight is kind of a easy to execute trick, it wasn't that bad. Obviously, the elevator hiccup was a bit of a shame, but here's what it is. 13K though. Let's go. So Corsica's now threatening to break our switch.
I don't know about that.
Now we're a little puppy.
Exactly a little puppy.
A little puppy. He was angry, but now he angry no more. I beat him up. Don't hurt puppies. He was a metal puppy that wanted to kill. I'm gonna stop talking.
Yeah.
Mr. Jai, we all make mistakes, especially you.
The mirroring worked, but only for a minute.
Yeah, so they tried to like hack into Corsica's screen to just see what she's seeing,
She must have forced her
which
way in there.
didn't really work that long, but it did give them the perspective that they saw that she was looking into, like she brute forced her way into Spectre files, so she's kind of like having those hesitations and those doubts sewn in by us, but is still like not wanting to necessarily join us, so we're sending out only a couple lasers, only just a couple lasers. You went to that guy? Yeah, so here we just kind of see Peppermint being Peppermint and not shooting at the giant target, despite being aimed at it, and it being clearly the elephant in the room. So we can always just say thanks, Peppermint. Thanks, Peppermint.
Thanks, targeting AI.
She does her best.
Most of the time.
Most of the best.
What about trying to reason with her?
The woman who's trying to kill me with lasers?
Well,
So here Mac suggests that we should try reasoning with her, which I'm sure would be a phenomenal plan if it was not Chai. Unfortunately, it is Chai.
Don't really have much choice.
They don't, but they're also sending the world's biggest idiot.
Booty.
That was totally why I summoned Mac there, and not because I thought I had Peppermint.
Giving the fans what they want.
Ow. So unfortunately she locked us in. Thankfully, the switch to disable it is just right there.
How convenient.
How convenient. Ow.
There is a laser there.
Listen, I didn't see it. I don't remember being able to select that magnet as I'm coming up, but I mean, the magnet targeting is
Looks like that's her office.
rickety at best at times. It's what causes that weird glitch in track 4 that I was mentioning. Alright, so this is the last combat before Corsica. So if we still have time, but that incentive is definitely coming close to being locked out, I would say. Closed is the word. That's how human speech works.
That's how the English
do. That's how the English do be. Well, at least it targeted one of the shield guys. Thankfully, unfortunately, they were all the shield guys. So that wasn't really that much of a... as the doggo is a super tough, we do want to save gauge for when he enrages, like so. Nice. All right. So Corsica locks the front door to her office. Thankfully, there's the nice little yellow golden gate vent. That is. We're gonna be a bit
head of security.
We're gonna be a bit of a sussy,
but
a sussy bum.
Among us.
Amogus.
Amogus.
Last chance. What am I doing?
So you're gonna have to wing it and talk to her.
I love that even Chai recognizes this as an awful plan.
He's self-aware.
We do love a self-aware idiot.
Talk to her calmly, state the facts.
So he would have probably been a lot more convincing had he, in this cutscene, not landed directly on her head and aggravate her immediately. So Corsica's whole gimmick in her fight is that she's basically one whole big parry rhythm attack fight. So about halfway through this fight, I'll mention that the incentive is closed. So if you want your last... I realized I wasn't skipping this dialogue. I should be skipping this dialogue. You can skip this dialogue. I forget that every time.
Did you know that you can skip that dialogue?
No. I actually didn't for my first few runs of this category. And then I'm still not doing it. God, yeah. And then once I realized you could, I saved like a good 2 minutes on my PB. Because there's a lot of dialogue in this fight.
You think you can strong-arm me?
Hey, you chose to fight. Wait.
You like puns too? What? No.
Whatever.
So here Corsica teaches us a new way to parry, or like a new thing we can do during these parry rhythm attacks. She's now giving us attacks that we can't parry. So now we need to dodge in between, and there is a visual indicator. And now certain enemies will now start to include these in their enrage attacks if we happen to see them.
Which I'll call you out for if we do.
Look, some of them are hard to avoid, okay? And as like kind of slow paced as this combat is, this song, once the beats start coming in, is great. So once her health bar ends at this point, there'll be like a little intermission before the phase 2. Spoilers. And that's probably where I'll say we close the incentive. And Chai just keeps kind of goading her to kind of just tire her out, which Corsica is very much engaging with. Alright, at the end of this little section here, I'd say we close it off. So get your last minute donations if you want that in.
I won't just give it up.
What are you doing this for? Kale?
What does it
So Chai actually starts making a pretty
Otherwise, he wouldn't have kept you in the dark.
You don't know that.
what's the one I'm looking for here? Peppermint will say it, a convincing argument here. Unfortunately, he then immediately starts calling her oblivious.
Just too oblivious to figure that out.
Come on!
Which just enrages her more.
So well.
And I'm going to not skip this next part.
your own words, you really blew it, Mr. Jai.
Wait, what does oblivious mean?
Enough distraction.
And he just kind of doesn't know what oblivious means, so he calls her oblivious. I would say the incentive is now close.
It's very close. And the winning option with a flurry of last-minute donations. Woo! I'm kidding. Rock Corsica continued its $100 win.
No worries. All right, here it is. We're gonna drop the controller and we're just gonna drop her on her head. And I didn't get the extra Corsica catch points. This cutscene's great, but it's long, and as they escape with Corsica in tow, the doors keep closing on her head and like bonking her head, and Chai tries to go slow and carefully, and it just manages to get her every time. And then Kale deems her basically a failure, and tries to kill her, or kill both of us, but mainly her, which has left her in a near-death experience. So the only way we could save her was to equip her with Vandalay tech, and now be a part of the crew. Spoilers. Well, I realized I spoiled it probably about 10 times over. But Corsica, now outfitted with some tech to keep her alive, basically, is now part of the crew and has some fun interactions with combat and the world coming up. This is a very groovy level. I like it.
There should be a back route nearby leading to the museum.
One day, I want to take the front route.
How about next time we should...
This is the night you've been
So,
waiting
went a little fast there, but Chai complains about always having to kind of take the back sneaky route, and then opening the way forward for everyone else, and wants to take the front route next time, to which Peppermint jokes, alright, next time we'll just shoot you out of a cannon, how about that? And he's like, okay. And Chai will remember this.
It's a great plan.
It is a phenomenal plan. So, eagle-eyed viewers might have noticed some of these flaming vent sections. Corsica now can extinguish these fires. As a head of security, extinguishing fires is quite literally her specialty.
She's an airbender.
Yeah, pretty much. We have a gun bender, a fist bender, and an airbender.
I like bending fists kind of hurt.
So this level is kind of annoying at certain parts just because there's certain sections we can't really skip in all choruses, I don't believe. This level on any percent is a fraction of what it is intended. And you skip like it was one of the first levels that you could just skip every single combat. So now there are some enemies that are on fire.
Figuratively and literally.
And Corsica now can put these out, which for these big guys, just lets us kind of hit them. You're meant to... There we go. This one we don't have the gauge to kind of kill, so we can just kind of outrange it and kind of be in the air to not have that shockwave hit us. That is not always the easiest. But we do have the gauge for this one. Oh, I almost missed it. But I did. The song's a banger though once it starts kicking in. I always say that about every single song in this game.
Smells like history.
Welcome to the Vandalay Historical Museum. Explore the journey from its humble roots to the behemoth.
Unfortunately, we are going through a history museum basically to get to kind of this like live concert that Mimosa, head of public relations, I believe is effectively her title, And so it is kind of the lore dump. One second. It is kind of the lore dump level. So there are sections where we literally just have to sit through actual history lessons. I just realized I didn't turn on one of the best parts about this costume. This costume pack gives, like, if you equip all parts of it, gives you a pizza guitar, and I'm really disappointed that I didn't turn that on. Alas.
How could you?
How could I? I remembered the cat boy, but I forgot the pizza.
Forgot the most important part.
Forgot the most important part. So here, we're learning about the history. We're learning about Roxanne Vanderlei, who is Kale's mother, as we learn on the next one. Spoilers. Peppermint gets very uppity and very annoyed at the history being told here, but I'm sure there's
no reason for
yeah, no.
She's very passionate.
She's just very passionate about robotics.
The winners of the war write the history books, unfortunately.
Fire squad reporting in.
Don't mind me. I have a bad habit of parroting stuff. Of course, because like, the winners write the history books. Just saying books back to myself.
No worries, thank you. Please feel free to repeat any and all dialogue of this game. I would not stop you in that whatsoever. That was nice. Sometimes these like smaller fire enemies can just kind of have like a last-ditch effort like explosion attack when they die, and I don't really know what causes it, and it's really annoying when it happens because you kind of just have to wait it out. But thankfully they didn't do that there. As we're kind of just sitting through this one, if there are any donations or anything you'd like to plug, that'd be a good time.
Awesome. Well, as the game takes us down a wonderful history lesson, I'm going to take you down our wonderful prize lesson. We have a wonderful selection of prizes available for people who donate at AusSpeedruns 2023. Prize packs include Elgato streaming packs, which consist of which consists of an Elgato Stream Deck Mark II and a Wave 3 microphone, which is the microphone I'm using right now. We're also giving away plenty of games, including 3 physical copies of Sonic Origins Plus, provided by 5 Star Games, 5 digital copies of Heavenly Bodies, provided by 2 Point Interactive, and 3 digital copies of Speaking Simulator by Affable Games. To enter into the pool for all these prizes, a minimum donation of $100 is required, but even as little as $5 could see you winning one of these games. For more information and the full terms and conditions, be sure to visit prizes.oddspeedruns.com or type !prizes in the chat. And we'd also like to thank Elgato, 5 Star Games, 2 Point Interactive, and Affable Games for providing these wonderful prizes. And I forgot a prize. You know what I forgot? A night stay at the Rockford, which is our wonderful venue. Thank you to the Rockford.
Yeah, this one in particular is the most annoying to try to quick kill. As you just don't have the gauge. Corsica can now like kind of stun them herself when they're in that first in like mini enrage section. Oh, I'm in the wrong corner. But it still can be kind of tricky if you don't get enough damage in. There's probably a way, and I'm just forgetting it. And especially with the samurai bots, they have that whole little like internal monologue that they have first, and you can really see why those ones in particular we want a quick kill when we have them enraged. So here we have some of these generators that Corsica, using her wind powers, can kind of overload them, which kind of just turn on a lot of platforming. Thankfully not like in and out platforming, it just kind of stays there, but it does have like a total duration of the whole overheating. missing these. I don't think I'm going to get enough gauge before. That hit me? Okay, I'm a little surprised about that. You can parry the shockwaves with good timing, but it is a little bit more dangerous than trying to just kind of outrange it. Whoop. All right, here we have a fun little section. Well, made a lot more fun and funny through windowed flight. Normally we'd have to turn off all of the electricity using the generators, but now we can kind of just fly all over and not have to worry about any of this.
It's pretty chill with the music, though.
It is. Then we have to turn on this generator just so that we can open up kind of the way around. But then we immediately just kind of do it again, as we normally have to punch a way in. Nice little section here that kind of utilizes all of your companions. The game really likes to kind of utilize them more and more in like trios now that you have access to all of them.
This will be easy.
Yeah, here's that attack I mentioned. And like you would think like blowing them out with Corsica would be enough, but it doesn't seem to be, which is really annoying. It probably has something to do with like killing them while they're extinguished. But even while they've been hit by Corsica, sometimes they just still like to do it for me, and it's annoying.
Leave it to me.
3, 2, 1, go!
So yeah, we're kind of just making our way through the History Museum to kind of get towards Mimosa, who is preparing for a live show that I'm sure we won't be interrupting whatsoever. We know that she's in her dressing room at the moment, so that's where we're heading to. And here we meet a fire gunner unit. They put two of the most annoying mechanics together.
Why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they?
Check this out.
Bonk. I wonder, you could probably... I wonder how much of this would be faster to fly over once you activate the necessary combats. Uh-oh. Because, like, normally, like, as we've seen with the flying, it's not the fastest thing in the world. And if you have, See, like, I hit the beat hit and it just didn't activate, and I don't understand why. If there's long stretches of, like, just where you can dash straight, the window of flight's not really that much faster. But there's a lot of, like, jump dashing happening there, so it might actually be faster. This combat's really annoying if you don't deal with the blue box really quickly, because you start bunking off the shields of these guys while trying to deal with the peppermint shields, and he's not dead yet. Okay. That combat either goes really, really well or just atrocious as you're having to just kind of clean up.
An exhibit destroyed.
Pretty sure you did that faster last time.
Thank you, Ash.
You okay?
Anytime.
More annoyed than usual.
Nothing. It's stupid. Another
So here we have our last little history lesson here. Pretty much discussing about how Roxanne moved on and retired while passing on her company to Kale, her very obviously only child. Which Peppermint clearly doesn't like the fact that his hair was being complimented and totally isn't calling anything else a lie whatsoever. Despite them having very similar hair.
Okay,
but I'm sure
very
that
passionate.
Yeah, I'm sure that has nothing to do with nothing to do with
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Forced her out.
You're just as annoying as Kane's been saying.
Shut it!
Never.
I mean, no, that wasn't the last combat. Did I? No, I said it was the last.
Well, I'm sure it's exciting to watch.
Last one of those things, but not the last combat.
Leave it to me. Let me have a go. 3, 2, 1, go!
This one might also be faster with Minute Flight, at least just to get to these grapple points. And like that's the fun thing about this trick only being discovered so recently, is just kind of we're still in that stage of like trying to find good uses for it.
Oh, I doubt that.
I haven't even hit the stage.
Too bad you won't be able to catch the performance of a lifetime.
So sassy.
She is
But
so
at least
sassy.
you'll get a light show.
This combat's really annoying because there's 3 super tough enemies all throughout. So it's just kind of a battle to try to get enough. Nice. Barely got enough of that one and managed to parry the first shockwave.
This will be easy.
Twister?
Listen here. Yeah. And they want to do There's just nothing I could do to stop that. It's really annoying once it starts.
You get a cool slow-mo if you're getting knocked back.
Thank you, Ash. I don't know why they give us health here, because this is the end of the level. So in this cutscene we skip, we find out that actually Peppermint is Kale's sister and thus Roxanne's daughter. and I think she was like kind of more leaning towards being the CEO, but then Kale kind of forced her mother out and kind of took over, but forcefully. And, Peppermint kind of ran away from her.
I am not putting my performance at risk. I am going on now.
But this, the children's choir.
Put them in the sieges.
So Mimosa's no longer in her dressing room, but thankfully she has some shark backup dancers that one of them has gone a little missing, and so we're going to fill in for him, and we are left shark. Let's go.
You made it backstage, Chai. Where are you?
I'm on my way to the stage, dressed as a shark. Ask me anything.
Please hurry. Mimosa's on stage now.
There's no time to be subtle about it, Chai. Just go.
There's nothing subtle about this outfit.
You're gonna be great up there. Look at her, hamming it up.
You gotta get up to the stage.
Almost there.
So in New Game Plus, you can equip Chai with a plethora of outfits like this one. Unfortunately, we don't actually get this outfit in New Game for that long, as we take it off immediately once we start the combat. But it is a fun little...
You picked the wrong fight.
This dress is a blow, Joy. Much damage is a cat, but her place is protecting her. You won't be able to directly damage her.
You'll have to stun her to even have a Chai. Her dress is back at full power.
Call me in and keep at her. Don't give her time to recharge.
So this is the Mimosa fight. It's mostly just like being hyper-aggressive. In the second phase, she turns off the lights. And once we kind of get a view as to which one is the pink one, we know that's going to be her. But also, I think if your allies are already kind of shooting her, kind of already know which one it is. So here we have a little guitar riff off. It's made a little amusing by the fact that we're playing with single key rhythmization on. I don't know how she ever expects us to lose this. If there's any donations now, would be a good time.
Well, we have a wonderfully apt $25 donation from Pancake, who says, "Hi Kenorah, thank you for sacrificing your sleep schedule so all your American friends got to watch your run. Love you, buddy."
Love you, Pancake. I'm disappointed you're not joining in and just clapping with them.
Not that fast of a clapper.
Fair. So here we enter phase 3. She has an attack that I think it is technically faster to kind of get hit by, but I don't like getting hit by it. It's this one. Okay. But she does get stunned for a really long time here. That just kind of lets us... I think a lot of these power chords just whiffed, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's her down. Now we have one last little rhythm parry attack out of her, and then she will explode everywhere.
Spoilers.
Every other boss has done it. Thankfully, fireworks! Yay!
Pretty explosion.
Pretty explosion. Still under 2 minutes, so I'm happy with that out of a Mimosa fight. Grab our key. Now we witness a little conversation here between Head of Finance, Roquefort, and the CEO, Kale. Got 2 achievements in 1.
Wow.
Wow. So they need to get to the main building. Thankfully, Chai has a plan. And we have to sit through this whole little intermission as they kind of... Chai explains his plan of shooting himself out of a cannon, to which everyone laments the fact that it was Peppermint's idea and he's completely taking it in earnest.
It's her own fault.
It really is. She blames him, but it's really her fault.
I can recalculate the trajectory here.
Let's hope this works. Aptly titled the song here. So yeah, mentioned it a little bit, but this game, obviously being music based, a large portion of it is like created for the game, but there are certain aspects where it is it does have copyright music. However, it does have a streamer mode. Yeah, I would like to thank you. It does have a streamer mode that you can enable that kind of replaces those particular copyrighted songs with copyright-free versions made by the Glass Pyramids primarily, and they are all phenomenal.
My preparations for the cannon have completed.
I love Cinnamon.
Now to begin the careful adjustments.
If there was ever like a mode where we could play as Cinnamon, I would jump on that in a heartbeat.
At least he'd have good eyeliner.
His makeup game is hella strong. Boop. There it is.
Stop that cannon! Chai, don't let them break it.
That would be worse than breaking my concentration.
Cinnamon, you're picking the worst.
So Cinnamon starts making puns as well, thanks to Chai. Chai loves it, as you can imagine. Peppermint and Corsica do not. So this section here is pretty much just like protect the cannon. They want to destroy the cannon as they recognize it's our only way in. Thankfully, we want them to not do that. And extra thankfully, Corsica being the head of security, they never took her off the security emails, so she kind of still has access to everything that they're going to do and where they're going to be, which is really useful for us.
Bit of an oversight.
Bit of a blunder, if you ask me. Yeah.
Cinnamon's almost done. Take out any security left.
Let's finish this up.
All right. It is stuck at 99 though, and Cinnamon here is about to say that there's some interference, and I'm sure it's nothing.
Oh, of course not.
I'm sure I'm not planning which Power Party member to have access to on a whim, because it's definitely not a big Firebird or anything. That would nuts.
Phoenix?
Phoenix.
Not fantastic.
You've got this, Chai. Wreck that thing, and Cinnamon's in the clear.
Damn it.
You just got banned.
And now I'm going to get whammed.
You need to bring it down to the ground for me
Now
to
it's going to
examine.
get whammed.
That's where I come
I love them explaining how to kill it as I'm killing
As
it.
you're killing it, yeah.
They're like, "Oh, here's where I come in. We're gonna help you." Oh, it's dead. Oh, okay.
You are already dead.
So, as much as I love the streamer mode music, I will admit that the song that plays in the cafeteria here and onwards, the copyrighted version of Invaders Must Die, it fits so well.
Definitely a blast from the past.
Like, the Glass Pyramid version of Intruder, it's like most of the same vibes and beats, but like, there's just something about that original that, ooh.
Clean up this mess.
What am I doing? Not the right thing, evidently. There we go. Whenever you see me kind of just like parrying after a combat, it's usually because there's a cutscene right afterwards and I'm trying to line up with that beat.
I'm gonna comment on Chef Samurai.
I love this fight. It's they took the fact that there would be. I'm not gonna get the quick kill on here, not whatsoever. Ah!
You got bammed again.
I got bammed and I'm gonna get whammed. I love that they just incorporate one of the samurais into the Iron Chef motif and just fits. And the fact that he just swings at you with ladles is fantastic. I thought I had the special attack ready because I knew I'd be getting it, but it's fine. Everything's fine. I'm not tired and nervous. You're tired and nervous.
Shut up. Haven't said anything yet.
Yeah, yet being the operative word there. That was a nice snuff box there. New Game Plus runs do get the added benefit of like having access to some better social attacks and also just chips that allow it so that you can you deal a little bit more damage. You obviously have a lot more health to play with, and there's also a chip that like kind of increases your energy, like reverb gauge acquisition rate. So combat's just all around a lot easier to kind of handle in New Game Plus. But I also do like kind of like the challenge that New Game gives of figuring out everything kind of. This is probably another place you could fly.
Good save.
Thank you. Nailed it.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Incoming, Jai.
So now we have a new armadillo friend.
Let me at those shields, Ty.
Bam. He's not dead. He's not dead. He's not dead.
The panic butt mashing.
Thankfully, we do pick up a battery there that we can kind of use in case that first power attack doesn't kill him, which sometimes it, evidently sometimes it doesn't.
Looks like it's across from an atrium you're coming up to.
Would be nice to just save that for last one for some other combats that we might need, but use it, we gotta use it, you know. So here we see the utmost
Look up to the left.
humbleness of KL,
I see it.
and clearly is not full of himself. Or
I got this.
Someone else made the statue for him.
All units entering room, please use
yeah, I'm sure he didn't ask for it.
Destroyed walls are very expensive to repair.
Fortunately, there's this little bird that instead of us just fighting and parrying that, we just kind of let that happen, I guess.
No one panic. Mr. Jai has assured us he has, quote, got this, end quote.
And so our end goal is actually like just on the other side of the atrium, and it's one of the kind of wild uses of windowed parry. Once you get to this section, you can kind of just fly over where you need to. There were some other ways we discovered you could fly, but they're very precise and without using like macros or like changing your keybinds specifically for it. It's effectively TAS only, and it requires it basically requires you jumping and parrying at the same time, and it's really clunky. And everyone was kind of glad that we found a much easier way to fly, because air parries were just the worst. Sometimes it just I don't know what causes it. Sometimes the hitbox just doesn't happen.
It doesn't want to work.
It doesn't want to work. But we are nearing up on the final leg of the game here. We've only got 2 more department heads, or really only 1 department head and the CEO left to go.
Keep going, Ty.
First, I was going to do that anyway. Second, I can make my own decisions, Corsica. I am an adult.
I don't want to talk about that.
Says a guy who shot himself out of a cannon.
Hey, it works. Kinda.
I mean, he's got a point. The cannon did technically work.
They give him so much crap for it. I'm like, honestly, I don't know why. Because, yeah, it 100% worked. He is getting to where he needed to be, and they had no other ideas. There's not really any more comments for a little bit. If there's anything to read out, feel free to take on over.
Yeah, awesome. We've had an anonymous $50 donation that says simply, Softman Cricket looked lonely. That does take us over our ASM2020 total.
Ooh.
We're now
Actually,
into the new era. Exciting stuff.
Did I have $100? I'm not gonna get that. Did I have $100?
Yeah, you did. So we have a handful of donation incentives throughout the entire event, and you do have $100 to put wherever you like.
Let's put it towards Softman Cricket.
Softman Cricket, that is a good choice, my friend.
How far away are we
That
on
actually
that?
puts Softman Cricket at only $110 left before we complete an entire run of Cricket 2019 in full cricket gear.
The whole 15-minute run of cricket.
The whole 15-minute run of Cricket 19 in full cricket gear. It's gonna be amazing.
Thankfully, that bird enemy has a kind of a special death animation. Instead of kind of going through the whole rigmarole, once it just hits 0 hit points, it does that cutscene of being crashed into the statue. So it doesn't even you don't even have to worry about it reaching the enraged state or anything like that. It just kind of goes right to it.
All of my slaves. Take this statue, Kale.
We have committed a beheading.
Bit brutal.
I'm sure he deserves it. Really? There we go. It's once I start thinking, intentionally about the dash. If I just don't talk about the dashes, I'm sure I'll just get it.
Oh, this is new.
Pick it up.
So Corsica kind of talks about how Roquefort shouldn't be seen as lightly. His reputation of being a wolf in sheep's clothing, but I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure it's nothing
ominous at all.
Ominous. Oh, he's a werewolf. Our beans. So now we're fighting a werewolf to the sound of Beethoven, or legally distinct Heat Boven, as it is streamer mode on. God, Rookport's such annoying to fight. He likes to run around quite a bit. Then he goes back into his more humanoid form.
Get away from me!
It certainly likes running.
Sure does. While also health gating, because we're not a certain part of the song, like most bosses. There we go. Unfortunately, Rookport, the more we hit him, the more angry he gets, which kind of just fuels his wolf form even more.
So I was just laughing at the last hit of him. It sort of looked like he was kind of like, not T-posing, but as he was getting knocked back, he was sort of like, I don't know, I guess it was sort of T-posing, I suppose, as he was like rolling around.
So ideally we want to try to force him into it. Nice, okay.
Oh,
so,
nice booty shot again.
So Rookport there has kind of a ultimate attack that he can do there if we aren't fast enough. Thankfully, you can kind of skip it if you can damage him enough. And then we have this laser phase where he does health gate. And I'm just kind of... He's always forced to vent a second time, so I just kind of beat him over there. There we go. One more phase. As he just doesn't want to be put down. He will huff and puff and he will just not go down. There's another attack here in this phase that we don't really want to see, but the likelihood of seeing it in this phase is more than the other one, I would say. Damn it, I think we were so close to phasing him too. Basically bonk him on the head, and then we land some final blows and get him into this little forced parry. This is the attack basically that we would have had to do in the second phase, but thankfully we skipped it. That fight is definitely one of the ones where I prefer stream mode off, as the cover version of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony is a phenomenal backdrop to a fight such as that.
Fighting a big bad wolf.
Big bad wolf. Huh. So, yeah, another achievement. It's almost like we're playing the video game and finishing levels. So now we have only one more target, the big bad, the CEO himself, Kale.
CEOs being big bads.
Commentary.
Get ready.
Unfortunately, he locks us off, and he also shows that his mother never really went into retirement. He just kind of controlled her using Spectra. I'm actually going to prepare this now. So we're in this barrier that is kind of resonating, but thankfully we have someone else who likes to resonate with music, and this is a really cool moment, but it is also really slow.
It is.
Let's just take it in full earnest while all the achievements pop up. It's a nice little cooldown period after Rookport.
But you get it done.
basically all of the characters just kind of reaffirming all of their faith in Chai, which helps him resonate with this wall to shatter it.
I like this new Chai. He's quite come around, hasn't he?
We're in this together.
The beats start getting a little bit weird to... I like your pants. Good enough.
Good enough.
It's also nice because like a lot of these kind of dialogue lines are from cutscenes we skip entirely. So it's a nice little window into some of the rest of the game's dialogue in this unskippable section here. Not even New Game Plus can skip this section too. If you ever redo this level, you have to do this entire opening bit every single time, which makes practicing it a pain. And we can skip this part though. So Kale here destroys the bridge and wants us to kind of go around the construction way. Thankfully, we can just kind of do this and just ignore the fact that the bridge is entirely knocked down.
Who needs friends?
Who needs?
You can just fly.
Yeah, your friends help you like get past and like make things swing down and let you like pass, and you could just fly on over. That is the last use of windowed flying that we have discovered so far in this category. Alright. There's not many choruses in this level. It's just kind of a nice little send-off to the rest of the game and the bonds that Chai has created. We kind of did skip over the initial bonding section with Mac and Peppermint, but they'll be back.
Or will they?
You're right, they're gone forever. Fortunately, we get stuck here. But our good friend Cinnamon over here, now it is my turn to help you. Boom.
Great job, Cinnamon.
Shake it off, Chai.
There's a nice little shortcut we can take here. Not if I fall. Not much of a shortcut if it, it's a shortcut to falling, apparently.
Now fall.
There we go. Now Corsica goes over here to create us another shortcut. This one a little bit more intended this time.
Oh, you know me so well, Corsica. It's gonna be smooth sailing from here.
100% smooth sailing, nothing's gonna go wrong. Oh, and remember Zanzo's giant death robot that he lost budget for? Well, Kale finished it. Oops.
But with what funding?
Zanzo was denied funding, but Kale is the CEO. It has giant death mega laser beams.
I mean,
What doesn't?
Why wouldn't you want a robot to have giant?
Exactly. the other one? There it is. How did I miss that again? So there's only 3 choruses in this level. The ending percent of this level is very, very different. Pretty much immediately you can kind of just like pretty much just immediately you can just kind of skip right to the end because it's all kind of there. It's just a matter of like getting to it. And there's a couple of out-of-bounds tricks that you can just do to just completely skip everything in 80%.
You won't take it on by yourself. Just avoid it for now.
I don't even know where I'm going. Try to look for a way back to us.
I spent a good amount of time trying to like route out uses of windowed flying on this level, and I could only really ever find that that first one over the bridge that actually, because a lot of the time like triggers for combats weren't set, not doing it the intended way, so it'd be fine for 80% if they didn't already have ways to get around it. But I'm sure there'll be more discoveries found eventually. Here are all of our friends coming to save us. And then it's our turn to try to save them. Eventually.
Not done yet.
This should be of assistance.
Nice little skip we could do here just to kind of go around all of the...
Not sure it's enough to take that thing down, though.
Just kind of go through rather than around. Good news, he thinks he lost it. Bad news, he didn't actually lose it.
It's a bad habit of getting punched.
He does. He...
Any way you can reach it. Kinda busy right now. Give me a second.
I'm not near any enemies. I would like to be near enemies, please. Ow. Nice power chord just in time for the brutal. That was the wrong move. And that's him done. Alright, that's the final chorus for this level. The two earlier exposed a bit of a weak spot on the arm, which we are now going to do our best to kind of exploit while our allies here are
Coming in hot.
holding the arm still. Which we break the arm off. Thankfully, that was the arm with the giant deadly laser. But like now we're all up here and we can't like destroy the robot. But Cinnamon is missing. Now it's to the best section in the entire video game where we play as Cinnamon. Are we all ready for the most hype jump in the entire video game? Let's go!
Would have been fun if he failed it.
Listen. Cinnamon recognizes he's compatible and then he sticks his arm in it. He could really use a hand.
Cinnamon! Yes, yes, yes!
Let's do this.
And with the power of friends and teamwork, anything is possible. Including shooting giant death laser robots at a giant death laser robot. With that power's combined and to the rhythm. Alrighty, now we only have one final level to go. Up against Kale himself.
Nowhere to run, Kale.
You've had a few hits.
Unfortunately, Kale here activates Spectra, and as Chai is kind of equipped with Vandalay Tech, that does leave him vulnerable. However, 808 is not equipped with Vandalay Tech, and it's now time to control the cat.
Even the cat can double jump.
Even the cat can double jump. One more hit, and we destroy the Spectra control device. Good on you, 808. Which reactivates Chai's heart, and now we can fight Kale for real. For real, for real. So Kale has a like a kind of a special stagger bar. If you don't finish his stagger, he takes really significantly reduced damage. So you want to try to parry him as much as you can, as those fill up his stagger bar quite easily. As well as Peppermint is very good at said stagger. Then we get a little parry window here. Then we're into phase 2. Phase 2 is really RNG dependent. He creates a bunch of these like robot arms that can only be destroyed with the power of friendship. However, it is entirely random what which attacks he does, and sometimes he can just do normal attacks that we can't let us destroy the arms. Thankfully, he is being very kind so far. Max, as always, takes 2 hits. As close as I say that he's being kind, he gives us a normal attack.
You jinxed it.
I did jinx it. I really did jinx it. Come on, Kale. There's not really much you can really do other than wait this out. Why did I open up my mouth, honestly? Alright, now we just need to wait for one more Mac attack. Please. Please. And that's this phase done, thankfully. And now it is on to the final phase. He gets heated up. And time is coming up soon. We have 4 more of these little, like... Oh, first we have a parry window attack. And then we have 4 more of these little quick time event things, 1 with each party member. And on the final hit of Chai's one with 808 is where time ends. So I'll call it out in a bit. Bam, bam. Corsica's turn. Peppermints. And time is coming up on this final hit. And time. Whew. And KO just kind of gets exhausted and just explodes.
Continuity.
Yeah. So that was Hi-Fi Rush. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hey, another achievement. Thank you, Esh, for joining me on the couch, and little Rowlet over here.
I apologize for putting...
There's a bunch of credits. But yeah, thanks for having me, ASM, and always happy to come back no matter what time of the morning it is. What time? Just underestimate. Phenomenal. All right. Thanks for having me.